Hi everyone, my name is Pranav,
And I'm Darsh.
and today we're going to be talking a little bit about linguistic determinism. So we did learn about this topic a couple months ago in psychology, but we wanted to delve a little bit deeper into it and talk about some of the important aspects. So to start off, we have a quick activity for you all. So on the next slide, you're going to see two different essays. On the left side, you're going to see an essay that was rated very poorly by admissions officers. On the right side, you're going to see an essay that was rated very highly. What we want you to do is briefly look over both of the essays and give it your own rating based on its quality. So as you can see, take a minute to pause this slide and read both the left and right essays. So hopefully you were able to give both of the essays a rating. And we're going to reveal to you now that our topic is not actually about linguistic determinism. We were going to explore the placebo effect. So this activity is actually a really important and relevant activity for our presentation because the left essay the essays were actually given the opposite rating. The left essay was rated very highly, and the right essay was rated very poorly. So how is this relevant to the placebo effect? What happened is that in the paragraph at the top, you were told that the essays were bad and good respectively, but they were actually given the opposite rating, and this serves to show you the power of the placebo effect. So hopefully this activity was insightful to you. We're now going to talk a little bit more about the power of the placebo effect.
So this right here is actually a video you can look up on your own. It's about how there's a patient and he had Parkinson's disease, and how what they did was they told him they were going to insert some deep brain stimulations, and he was told that was going to decrease his symptoms of Parkinson's disease. But what actually happened was they didn't insert that. All they did was just drill a hole in his brain, but they didn't really insert anything. But even still, he reported that he significantly improved and his symptoms significantly decreased. So fake surgeries like these leads to improvement 75% of the time. And as you can see by the graph in this corner, you can see that the black lines represent the percentage improvement of fake surgeries, and the white lines represent the percentage of improvement in real surgeries. So in the graph, you can see that the percentage of improvement in the fake and real surgeries are equal to, and sometimes the fake surgeries are even better than the real surgeries.
So over the next couple of slides, we're going to talk about the causes of the placebo effect. So how these slides are formatted is on the left-hand side, you're going to see a graphic that kind of explains the study behind the cause. In the middle, you're going to see a description, and then on the left-hand side, the cause. So the first one is the regression to the mean. What this means is that every illness has a natural course, and time is a very important curing factor. It's a very powerful medicine. So what this cause tells you is that over a period of time, patients naturally heal, and they interpret this healing as an improvement, as relief. So in the study to the left, you see that the patients who received no treatment or any drugs were almost as effective as those who received treatment or the placebo. The next cause is a confirmation bias. So what this study explains is that patients tend to focus more on the positive effects of their illness, their symptoms, and ignore the negative effects. So what happens is that patients tend to see that they are improving, that the positives outweigh the negatives, and ultimately they're misattributing this because it is actually the placebo effect. This next study is actually very interesting. It's about social learning. So what the study demonstrated is that when patients see that another patient next to them is improving, they also tend to improve. So for example, if you're in a patient's bed and next to you, you see another patient receiving a treatment, and following that treatment, that patient improves, what research suggests is that you have a greater likelihood of improving yourself. This next cause is medical conditioning. So this study is actually very interesting. On the left-hand side, you see that patients were split into two different groups. The first group received a flavored drink that had immunosuppressants in it. The second group, however, just received the flavored drink. What researchers found happened after 2 weeks is that the first group of patients experienced a decrease in immunity. But what was really surprising is that in the third week, they removed the immunosuppressants from the flavored drink. But the patients still experienced decreased immunity. This shows you the power of classical conditioning of drugs when you're receiving a treatment. The final cause is expectations and learning. So what this study and the description tell you is that cues from the environment are a vital part of your perception of improvement. And finally, the human connection. So this explains that empathy and sympathy of your treater, of the doctor who's taking care of the patient, is a very important part of the patient's perception of relief and improvement. So the study shows that a doctor who is more empathetic to your situation receives a greater results in terms of improvement. Finally, to sum up the causes, we kind of wanted to talk about the extent to which the placebo effect can heal. So if you take a look at these two studies and their descriptions, you're going to find that when patients have an illness, there really is no biological improvement in their systems. The placebo effect doesn't cause any change in their biological situation. But on in a cognitive perspective, it's entirely different. Patients think that they're getting better, therefore they are getting better. We're now going to switch to the various perspectives of the placebo effect.
So the first perspective that you can think about the placebo effect is the biological perspective. And what happens in this perspective is that up here at the top, the brain recognizes that it's getting a drug and that the drug should help them heal and feel better. So then what happens next is that the brain releases neurotransmitters, as seen right here, and then these neurotransmitters meet the actual signals of pain coming up from the spinal cord at this area down here called the dorsal horn. And that's where the pain signals and the placebo effect signals cancel out, and that's how we feel our relief from the placebo effect. And then another way to think about it is by the cognitive perspective. So let's say you lost your job, so then if you thought about it that you lost your job because you were hopeless or you're worthless or you can't make it, then you're going to fall into depression. But if you think about it that it's okay, you can take it as a challenge and you'll get another job, then you'll be more successful. So this shows, this is similar to cognitive behavioral therapy in that the mind is in between the event and the response. And finally, one way you can apply this to daily life is through managing stress using the placebo effect. So this video down here is actually called The Power of Positive Thinking by Brain Games, so you can look that up if you want to watch it. But basically what happened was basketball players who were given positive encouragement actually scored more shots than players who were given negative encouragement. So this goes to show that it's really important to surround yourself with positive people and positive thoughts so that you can change your beliefs and ultimately change your response. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Hopefully you found this presentation interesting and you learned more about how the placebo effect is relevant to our daily lives. Once again, thank you.